Round two of this trade war between the US and China marks a serious escalation in a battle that has dragged on for months. With much bigger numbers, the US will hit Chinese imports with duties on $200 billion worth of imports. China will hit back with duties on $60 billion worth of imports into China from the United States. And perhaps more seriously, trade talks have now been scrapped. According to the Wall Street Journal, a Chinese delegation was due to visit Washington, D.C. this week. Those have been abandoned, and one of the more hawkish voices in the Trump administration, the U.S. Secretary of State, says the U.S. is determined to win this trade battle. For the U.S., that means pressuring China into changing what the U.S. deems unfair trade practices, things like forcing U.S. trade partners to hand over trade secrets and Chinese companies allegedly undercutting U.S. competitors. Both of these things China denies, and both these sides are really far apart in trying to resolve this trade war. And the impact of this battle is now beginning to show up in the numbers for both countries. China just released some industrial figures. Sorghum imports, an important cereal for China, they're down nearly 80% compared to last year. Almost all of China's sorghum is imported from the United States. But if China can absorb this kind of thing without passing it on to consumers, well, for the US, it's a different picture. Companies like Walmart are warning that their goods may have to go up in the run-up to the all-important holiday season. And Bloomberg just put out a recent estimate suggesting that tariffs will take nearly 1% of annual US economic growth. Imagine what will happen if US President Donald Trump follows through with a promise to add even more tariffs, threatening duties on an additional $267 billion worth of Chinese imports. At that point, we're talking about a huge tax on all of China's exports to the United States, with no end in sight to this seemingly intractable trade dispute. Owen Fairclough, CGTN, Washington.